There is no force in the universe stronger than a deeply held belief, and repetition is the tool that creates it. Consider how habits are formed. At first, a new behavior may feel unnatural, but through repetition, it becomes second nature. The same is true of thought. If you begin repeating a phrase such as, I am wealthy, I am successful, I am loved, at first it may feel untrue, but if you persist, if you say it daily, if you impress it upon yourself with conviction, it will become so familiar to your mind that it is accepted as fact. And once it is accepted, it must express itself in your reality. Doubt cannot withstand the power of repetition. In the beginning, the conscious mind may resist. It may argue against your new affirmations, pointing to external conditions that contradict them. But repetition overrides this resistance. Say the words anyway. Let them become so ingrained that they no longer feel like affirmations, but simple statements of truth. The subconscious will respond in kind, orchestrating events, drawing circumstances, and aligning people to make your repeated words a tangible reality. This is why the most successful people in any field understand the necessity of repeating their vision, their goals, their affirmations. They do not leave their beliefs to chance. They choose their words carefully and repeat them relentlessly. They understand that the mind is a garden, and repetition is the act of watering the seeds they wish to grow. You are always imprinting upon your subconscious, whether intentionally or not. Every word you say, every phrase you repeat is a command to the unseen forces of creation. Choose wisely. If you desire a life of abundance, repeat words of abundance. If you wish to experience love, repeat words of love. Do not let careless negative words take root in your mind, for they too will manifest. Let repetition become your ally. Speak as if your desires are already fulfilled, and through the power of imprinting, they will become so. Just as water carves through stone, your repeated words will carve the path to your destiny. Gratitude is not merely a polite gesture. It is a powerful force that confirms to the universe that your desire is already yours. Most people wait until they receive something before they express gratitude, but the secret to manifestation is to give thanks in advance. When you feel grateful for something before it appears, you send a signal to the unseen forces of creation that you already possess it, and reality must conform to that belief. The mistake many make is in separating themselves from their desires, believing they exist somewhere in the future, always just out of reach. But gratitude dissolves that illusion of separation. It shifts your awareness from wanting to having, from lack to fulfillment. When you say, thank you that I am wealthy, thank you that I am loved, thank you that my desires are fulfilled, you are not hoping or wishing, you are confirming, and confirmation is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Your subconscious mind responds to feeling, not empty words. This is why gratitude is so effective. It carries a deep emotional charge. When you feel truly grateful, your entire being aligns with the state of having, and when you remain in that state, your external world must shift to match it. The law is simple. What you believe and feel to be true manifests. Gratitude is the emotional proof that you already possess what you seek, and the universe has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Many who struggle with manifestation find themselves trapped in a cycle of wanting. They constantly affirm, visualize, and repeat their desires, but their underlying state is one of lack. They are still waiting for evidence before they allow themselves to believe. But gratitude allows you to bypass this limitation. When you give thanks before seeing results, you are no longer waiting, you are knowing. And knowing is the key to receiving. This is why some people seem to manifest effortlessly. It is not because they are lucky, but because they naturally embody the feeling of already having. They walk in confidence, they feel blessed before the blessing arrives, and because they expect it with unwavering gratitude, it comes. You must live as though your desire is already fulfilled. Speak and think in ways that reflect this truth. Instead of saying, I hope to receive more money, say, I am so grateful that money flows to me with ease. Instead of longing for love, say, I give thanks that I am surrounded by love in all forms. Make gratitude your natural response to life, not just for what you already have, but for what is on its way. Gratitude is the highest form of faith. It shows that you trust the unseen, that you believe in the creative power within you. And faith does not beg or plead, it assumes, it thanks, it rests in the certainty of fulfillment. When you truly grasp this, you will no longer chase after desires, wondering when they will arrive. You will know they are already yours, and through gratitude you will witness them unfold before your eyes. There is no need to chase what is already yours. The moment you declare your desire with conviction, it is set into motion. The unseen forces of creation begin aligning events, people, and circumstances to bring your desire into form. But for many, the greatest obstacle is not in declaring what they want. It is in their inability to let go and trust. They plant the seed, yet they keep digging it up, checking for signs, worrying, doubting, and wondering if it will really happen. This is where faith and detachment must take their rightful place. Detachment is not indifference, it is confidence. It is the deep, unwavering knowing that once you have spoken your desire, it is done. It does not require your constant interference. Just as a farmer does not hover anxiously over his crops, wondering if they will grow, you too must trust that the seed of your word is already working beneath the surface. Your role is to assume its fulfillment, not to force it into being. Many fall into the trap of begging and chasing, believing that the harder they try, the faster their desires will manifest. But effort born of desperation only reinforces the idea that the desire is not yet yours. This is why those who are desperate for love often repel it, why those who chase money seem to struggle endlessly, and why those who are anxious about success never seem to grasp it. Their focus remains on the lack of what they seek, rather than on the certainty of its arrival. Faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When you truly believe that what you have declared is already set in motion, you do not need to see evidence before you rest in the assurance of its fulfillment. You simply know. This knowing allows you to move through life with ease, free from doubt, free from worry, and free from the exhausting need to force things into being. Consider the air you breathe. You do not chase after it, nor do you wonder if it will be available to you. You trust in its presence. You do not panic, question, or beg for each breath. You simply inhale, knowing it is there. This is the same level of trust you must cultivate with your desires. The moment you declare it, it is already in motion. You do not need to grasp or cling. You only need to trust. And when you embody this mindset, you free yourself from unnecessary struggle. The universe responds to this certainty, and what you have spoken must unfold effortlessly in its perfect time. Let go of the need to control. Speak your words, declare your vision, and then release it with absolute trust. Live in the assumption that it is already yours. Walk in the confidence that the moment you spoke it, the universe heard you. And when you least expect it, when you are no longer grasping or searching, your desire will manifest in ways more perfect than you could have ever imagined. The power to create your reality has always been within you. Every word you speak, every assumption you hold, and every emotion you embrace shapes the world around you. When you understand that your words are commands to the subconscious, that assumption solidifies reality. That repetition imprints your desires, and that gratitude confirms their fulfillment. You unlock a life of effortless manifestation. There is no need to chase, force, or beg. The moment you declare something with conviction, it is set into motion. Your only task is to trust, to detach from the need to see immediate proof, and to walk in the knowing that what you have spoken is already yours. Live as though your desires are already fulfilled. Feel the joy of possession, give thanks in advance, and let go of the need to control the process. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly in divine timing and in the best possible way. When you operate from this deep sense of faith and certainty, reality will shape itself to match your inner world. You are not a victim of circumstances, you are the creator of them. Speak with authority, Assume the best and know that the unseen is always working in your favor. The moment you align with this truth, life will become a seamless flow of effortless manifestations.
There is a stirring inside you right now. You can feel it, a sensation that life is shifting, moving, rising. Something big and beautiful is on its way into your reality, and your only task is to stay ready for it. Every desire you carry is not random. You did not imagine greatness by mistake. What you want is already yours in the invisible. There is a version of you who already has the life you dream of, the success, the love, the breakthroughs, the abundance, and that version of you is calling, pulling you forward, reminding you that destiny is not somewhere you go, it's something you awaken to. The greatest secret you must never forget is this: what you assume to be true eventually becomes true. When you walk, speak, and think as though your blessing is guaranteed, you summon it closer. When you prepare for what you've asked for, you declare yourself worthy of receiving it. So ask yourself, are you thinking like the person who already received the miracle? Are you preparing your life for the arrival of what you prayed for? Are you behaving like someone who knows the blessing isn't coming? It's here. To stay ready is to live from the end. It is to celebrate the harvest even while the seeds are still underground. It is to decorate the room before the guest arrives, because you know the knock on the door is certain. Feel the fulfillment now. Feel the joy in advance. The feeling is the magnet, and it is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Your breakthrough is already moving. The path is being cleared. People you've never met are waking up today with a desire to bless you. Doors that were locked are weakening. Delays are dissolving. Circumstances are turning in your favor in ways you cannot yet comprehend. This is not wishful thinking. This is alignment. This is not hoping. This is knowing. Gratitude is your access point. The more thankful you become for what is and what is coming, the faster your blessing rushes toward you. Appreciation tells the universe, I am ready, I am expecting, I am prepared. So live like the miracle is inevitable, because it is. Walk like the breakthrough is guaranteed, because it is. Dream like the manifestation has begun, because it has. Something big and beautiful is already on its way to you. Not next year, not someday. Now, stay ready. Stay expectant. Stay aligned. Your destiny is not approaching, it is arriving. The life you are living right now is not a result of luck, chance, or random circumstance. It is the reflection of the ideas, beliefs, and assumptions you have accepted within yourself over time. Your inner world, the thoughts you rehearse, the emotions you nurture, the mental pictures you return to again and again, is continually shaping the world you experience on the outside. Nothing manifests in your physical reality without first being conceived in consciousness. What you entertain within eventually expresses itself without. For the unseen is the origin of all things seen. Every desire you hold is a preview of what is possible for you. When you imagine a future that excites you, that vision is not fantasy, it is permission. Your imagination is showing you what already exists in a higher dimension of self. To manifest it, you must become intimately familiar with that future before it materializes in your hands. You must walk in it, feel it, claim it, and experience it internally as though it were already yours. The world simply mirrors back the state of being you consistently embody. If you think thoughts of limitation, life will appear limited. If you expect disappointment, disappointment will find you. But if you dare to live in the feeling of fulfillment, even when the evidence has not yet arrived, you activate a powerful force that compels reality to rise to your belief. The imagination is not just a place to escape the world, it is where you design it. Every great achievement, invention, love story, or transformation began as an inner knowing long before others could see it. You cannot wait for the external world to change before changing how you feel. That is the mistake many people make. They wait for the relationship to feel loved. They wait for the money to feel secure. They wait for the success to feel worthy. But waiting keeps you stuck in the absence of what you want. Creation responds not to what you lack, but to what you assume. To receive more love, you must feel love within. To experience abundance, you must think abundantly. To live a life of joy, you must nourish joy internally first. Living from the end means choosing the state of the wish fulfilled right now. It means aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the version of you who already has the outcome. You become the one who is chosen, who is wealthy, who is celebrated long before the world acknowledges it. And because your internal shift is real and vibrant, your external life has no option but to conform. The universe always yields to the strongest assumption. Your imagination is the spiritual blueprint of your future. When you give consistent attention to what you desire instead of what you fear, you transform the direction of your life. What you accept as truth within yourself becomes the law by which your experiences unfold. Therefore, honor your imagination. Trust your inner vision. Live boldly in the reality you choose, not the one you have been conditioned to accept. The moment you claim the future inside you is the moment that future begins to materialize around you. Faith is not merely believing that something beautiful can happen. It is living as though it already has. Real faith is demonstrated in preparation. When you prepare for what you desire, before any sign has appeared, you declare to the universe that you are confident in its arrival. You don't wait for the miracle to show up before you begin acting like someone who is blessed. You live from the certainty that the blessing is already yours, and your preparation becomes the evidence of that inner conviction. Most people think they should start preparing once they see progress, once the opportunity appears, once the result is visible. But that mindset is rooted in doubt and fear. Waiting means you are still unsure. Preparation means you know. When you take the steps ahead of time, you are essentially saying, I trust that what I desire is on its way. I am aligning my life with the outcome I expect. This alignment is not symbolic, it is creative. It generates momentum, it opens doors, it speeds up manifestation. Think of it like planting a seed. You do not wait for the first sprout before watering the soil. You do not question whether a tree will grow when you have already planted its seed. You water, you nurture, you protect it, because you understand growth is happening beneath the surface, even when you cannot see it. Your manifestations work the same way. Just because nothing appears to be happening does not mean the miracle is not in motion. Most transformation begins invisibly. Preparation is how you continue to say yes to your desire during the invisible stage. Ask yourself, if the life you prayed for arrived today, would you be ready? If the opportunity you keep asking for showed up at your door, would you have the space for it? If the relationship you dream of entered your life right now, would you be emotionally prepared to receive love? If your financial breakthrough came tomorrow, would you know what to do with it? Many people want the blessing but maintain a life that rejects it. Preparation is how you make room. It is how you clear the path. When you prepare, you shift your identity. You stop being someone who is hoping and waiting, and you become someone who is expecting and receiving. You act like the version of yourself who has already succeeded. You make decisions from abundance instead of fear. You speak with confidence instead of uncertainty. You take steps forward instead of standing still. The universe responds to the energy of readiness. Every small act of preparation signals faith. Clean the space. Organize your finances. Practice the skill. Strengthen the habit. Dress for the position. Live as though the results are guaranteed, because they are, when you align with them fully. Miracles manifest where readiness resides. When you carry the attitude that what you desire is inevitable, life rushes to meet you in that belief. Preparation is not just a task, it is a declaration, I am ready for what I asked for. And when you remain ready, the blessing has no choice but to arrive. To presume the end is to live from the victory before the battle is ever seen. It means stepping into the energy and emotion of your desire as though it has already manifested, regardless of what your current circumstances show. When you feel the joy, peace, and fulfillment of the outcome now, you send a clear message to the universe. This is my reality. And when the universe receives that message, it begins rearranging every detail of your life to reflect the assumption you have accepted. Most people assume the opposite. They assume delay, they assume disappointment, they assume that life is hard and that what they want is far away. Without realizing it, they hold on to worry, fear, and doubt. And the universe faithfully mirrors that back. You cannot expect abundance while assuming lack. You cannot attract love while assuming rejection. You cannot experience success while assuming unworthiness. Your assumption is your frequency, and life always aligns with the frequency you choose. Assuming the end is a bold and revolutionary act. It means no longer pleading for the desire, but possessing it internally. You stop asking, when will it happen? And instead you declare, it is done. You stop hoping for it and begin thanking for it. You no longer consume your energy worrying about the how. You rest in the knowing that the how will unfold naturally. The moment you shift from wanting to having in your mind, your external world begins to transform. Feeling is the fuel. It is not enough to think about the end. You must emotionally live inside it. Imagination alone is the blueprint, but emotion animates the blueprint into physical form. When you feel the joy of success in advance, the warmth of love in advance, the relief of abundance in advance, your nervous system accepts that experience as real. And once your inner state changes, your outer world must change to match it. Reality has no power except to reflect the assumptions you hold within. Ask yourself, if everything you desire were already yours, how would you speak? How would you walk? How would you treat yourself? How would you treat others? How would your thoughts shift? Begin to embody those answers now. Your new behavior is a signal of your new belief. Even if your senses tell a different story, even if nothing looks different yet, remain in the feeling of the fulfilled desire. The senses show you the past. Imagination reveals the future. Do not let the visible world convince you to abandon the miracle that is forming. Assume the end with confidence. Assume it with gratitude. Assume it with joy. Nourish the inner reality that you have chosen, and do not waver when old circumstances try to pull you backward. Transformation often happens quietly, beneath the surface, until suddenly everything is different. The moment you become the person who already has what they desire, the universe rushes to catch up. When you feel the end as your truth, life must reveal it as your experience. The world around you begins to change the moment something changes within you. Long before the breakthrough becomes visible, it announces itself through subtle inner shifts. A new thought, a sudden burst of hope, a renewed excitement, a quiet knowing that something greater is forming. These internal signs are not coincidence. They are the first evidence that your desire is coming into being. The transformation always begins in the invisible realm, and your intuition is the messenger that speaks before the manifestation appears. You may feel a new sense of peace about things that once made you anxious. You may no longer be reacting to the same triggers. You may find yourself dreaming bigger, believing deeper, thinking more powerfully. You may catch yourself smiling for no apparent reason, simply because something inside you knows the story is turning. These feelings are not illusions or temporary emotional highs. They are spiritual confirmations that your energy has shifted and that the external world must soon follow. When your mindset elevates, your life elevates. When your self-concept rises, your opportunities rise. When your expectation changes, your circumstances change. The universe cannot deny what you have already accepted within. So, when you start to notice that your thoughts are becoming more aligned, your confidence is strengthening, and your heart is opening again, recognize that these are signs of progress, not random moments. Often we become impatient when we cannot yet see physical results. We ask why nothing is happening, why nothing looks different. But the truth is that the most crucial work is done outside of you. A seed is transforming long before it breaks through the soil. A butterfly is forming long before its wings are seen. Likewise, your life is being rearranged long before you witness the breakthrough with your eyes. The shift you feel is the announcement that change is underway. Pay attention to the synchronicities. The right people showing up, the right message arriving at the perfect time, the opportunities that seem to appear out of nowhere. Notice how obstacles start to dissolve or no longer intimidate you. Notice how your standards rise, how you no longer settle, how you feel drawn to environments that uplift rather than drain you. These are not small things. They are the universe guiding you into alignment with the new reality you've chosen. Trust the signs, trust the timing, trust your inner knowing. When you feel an irreversible shift in your spirit, when you know deep in your bones that something good is coming, that knowing is the first stage of the miracle. Do not dismiss it. Celebrate it. Your breakthrough isn't just near, it has already begun. The shift you feel within is the proof that creation is unfolding on your behalf. Stay open, stay grateful, stay ready. What has started within you will soon manifest around you in ways that exceed your imagination. Your greatest desires are not accidents. They are not fantasies randomly placed in your mind. They are divine promises, glimpses of a future that already exists for you in a higher realm of possibility. The moment a dream is given to you, it comes with the provision for its fulfillment. You were shown the vision because you are meant to walk in it. If it were not yours, you would not feel such a deep connection to it. Desire is not a sign of lack. It is a sign of destiny. Every dream is a calling. It calls you to expand, to rise, to become the version of yourself who can live that reality effortlessly. The desire itself is proof that the blessing is already prepared. It is not asking you to create something from nothing. It is asking you to reveal what is already written for you. When you feel a longing in your heart, that longing is life saying, this is your path, this is your future, this is what belongs to you. You are not chasing anything, you are remembering what is already yours. Too often, people doubt their dreams because they seem too big. They question whether they are worthy enough, capable enough, or lucky enough. They try to shrink their desires to match their current circumstances. But your dreams are not meant to fit where you are. They are designed to lead you where you are destined to go. You are not given a desire to taunt you. You are given a desire to transform you. Let go of the idea that you must earn your dream. You are not trying to convince the universe to bless you. You are learning to accept the blessing that has always been yours. Your role is not to struggle or worry about how it will happen. Your role is to believe, to align, to prepare, to step into the identity of the person who already possesses the desire. The path unfolds the moment you say yes internally. Think about the things that excite you, inspire you, and call your spirit forward. The career that lights you up, the love that feels like home, the success that feels natural in your soul. Those desires are not random preferences. They are signposts pointing you toward the life your Creator intended for you. The dream chose you as much as you chose it. Instead of asking, can this really happen for me? Ask, why else would this desire be placed in my heart, unless it is already mine? The answer will always reassure you. Your dreams are divine promises waiting for your agreement. Trust the desire. Honor it. Claim it as your truth. When you embrace a dream with certainty, the universe orchestrates every detail in your favor. People will appear, opportunities will open, resources will flow. The dream that once felt distant will become your daily reality. Your desire is your permission slip for greatness. If you were shown the dream, it is because you are destined to live it. All you need to do now is believe and allow what is promised to unfold. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in creation because it shifts your energy from wanting to having, from longing to receiving. When you appreciate the blessings already present in your life, you align yourself with the vibration of abundance. Gratitude tells the universe, I see what you've done for me, and I trust what you're preparing next. That trust creates momentum. It opens the door for more blessings to flow in with ease and speed. So many people wait for their lives to change before they feel grateful. They postpone appreciation until the manifestation is complete, but gratitude is not the result of blessings. Gratitude is the cause. It is the catalyst that accelerates what you desire. When you say thank you for what hasn't yet arrived, you proclaim that it is already yours. You step into the reality of fulfillment and invite the external world to reflect that truth. Gratitude transforms your perspective. Instead of focusing on what is missing, you become aware of what is present: love, breath, opportunities, potential, guidance. The more you value what you have, the more you discover you have always been supported. The universe is constantly working on your behalf, arranging details, introducing you to people, and guiding you toward greater experiences. Gratitude helps you recognize these subtle miracles and magnifies them into greater ones. When you appreciate even the challenges, you shift from resisting life to cooperating with it. You learn that every delay carries purpose. Every struggle builds strength. Every closed door redirects you to something better. Gratitude turns frustration into faith. It transforms impatience into expectancy. It keeps your heart open when doubt tries to close it. Every day, practice feeling thankful for the desires that are making their way to you. Feel grateful for the dream you are becoming lined with. Feel grateful for the progress you cannot see yet, but can sense within. When you give thanks in advance, you anchor the future into the present moment. You bridge the invisible and the visible. Gratitude is not passive, it is creative. It changes your emotion frequency and clears the path for manifestation. A grateful mind attracts more to be grateful for. A complaining mind attracts more to complain about. Life always mirrors your dominant attitude. So choose the attitude that draws blessings instead of blocking them. Every thank you is a signal. Every moment of appreciation is an invitation. You are telling the universe, more of this, please, and the universe responds. Right now, count the gifts that surround you: the breath in your lungs, the strength in your soul, the miracle of another day. Smile at the path you are on and the one unfolding ahead. The door has already begun to open. Gratitude will swing it wider. Appreciate what is. Celebrate what's coming. And watch how quickly your life rises to meet the praise you give it. Every desire that lives in your heart is already alive in the unseen. The moment you choose to believe in the beauty of what is coming, you give permission for miracles to unfold. Stay ready, stay aligned, and stay grateful. Feel the victory now. Walk like the blessing is already yours. Trust the signs that are guiding you, and celebrate every shift within. Because something big and beautiful is not just on the way, it has already begun. Your future is waiting to meet the version of you who believes. Thank you for being here, thank you for listening, and thank you for having the courage to expect more from your life. The best is not ahead, the best is arriving now.
You see, the quantum field, the unified field of all possibilities, doesn't respond to what we want. It responds to who we are being. If I am wanting, longing, chasing something, I am reinforcing to the quantum field that I lack it. I am broadcasting a signal of separation rather than connection. But when I become silent, when I go inward and truly embody the state of already having the thing I desire, I am aligning myself with the reality where that future already exists. And this is not just some mystical concept. This is neuroscience. This is quantum physics. Let's break it down. If I am wanting, longing, chasing something, I am reinforcing to the quantum field that I lack it. I am broadcasting a signal of separation rather than connection. But when I become silent, when I go inward and truly embody the state of already having the thing I desire, I am aligning myself with the reality where that future already exists. And this is not just some mystical concept. This is neuroscience. This is quantum physics. Let's break it down. In order to access the quantum field, I must enter the realm of nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, no time. That means I must go beyond my identity, beyond my ego, beyond my environment. I must enter the present moment completely, and silence is the doorway. Most people are caught in the noise of their external world. Their five senses tell them that their current reality is their only reality. But if I define my reality by what I perceive, I am enslaved by the past, because everything I experience through my senses has already happened. So what do? I withdraw my attention from the external world. I close my eyes, I slow my breath, I become nobody, nowhere, in no time. And in that deep silence, I step into pure consciousness. This is the place where all possibilities exist. This is the quantum field. Now, why is acting as if so powerful? Because my brain and body do not know the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. If I can teach my body emotionally what my future feels like before it happens, I am literally conditioning my biology into that new state of being. When I sustain that state of being, I am no longer waiting for something outside of me to change in order to feel joy, love, abundance. I have already become the thing I seek. And here's the secret. When I no longer feel like I need it, when I no longer feel separate from it, that is the moment it finds me. Most people live in a linear model of reality. They think, if I work hard enough, if I put in enough time, then maybe in 5 years I'll achieve my goal. But the quantum model of reality is different. The moment I become energetically aligned with the future I desire, I collapse time. That future is drawn to me because I'm the vibrational match to it. Think of it like a radio station. If I want to listen to 95.7 FM, I don't keep my dial on 88.3 FM and hope it changes. I must tune myself to the frequency of the station I want to receive. And the way I tune in, I feel as if I already have it. I wake up with gratitude as if my future is happening now. Here's the paradox. The more I chase, the more I push it away. The more I try to control, the more I signal to the field that I am separate from my desire. But when I enter the deep silence of the quantum field, when I surrender, when I let go of the how and when, I allow the infinite intelligence of the field to orchestrate my life in ways my limited mind could never conceive. I stop analyzing. I stop second-guessing. I stop needing. And instead, I trust. And when I trust, when I fully let go, I make space for the unknown to find me. And that's when the miracles begin. Most people don't understand the mechanics of creation. They share their visions with others, friends, family, colleagues, seeking validation, approval, or reassurance. But the moment they do that, they leak energy. They dissipate the very power that is meant to birth that vision into reality. Why? Because manifestation is a delicate internal process that requires a coherent energy field. It requires an unshakable knowing within you, independent of outside influences. Let's break this down scientifically, energetically, and practically. Your attention is like a laser beam. Wherever you direct it, you are feeding that thing with your energy. Imagine you have a flashlight in a dark room. Whatever you shine the beam on becomes illuminated. It becomes real to you. Now think of your thoughts as that flashlight. If you constantly think about problems, limitations, fears, or doubts, you are shining your light on them, making them more real in your personal reality. But if you shift your attention to possibilities, abundance, joy, and your future vision, you begin feeding that reality with energy instead. Where is your flashlight pointed? Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It constantly filters out unnecessary information and highlights what aligns with your dominant focus. Think about when you buy a new car. Before you owned it, you rarely noticed that model on the road. But now you see it everywhere. Why? Because your attention has tuned your brain to recognize it. This is called the reticular activating system, a network in your brainstem that acts like a filter, letting in only what aligns with your focus. Now let's apply this to manifestation. If your attention is constantly on lack, your brain finds more evidence of lack. If your attention is on opportunities, your brain finds more opportunities. If your attention is on gratitude, your brain finds more to be grateful for. This is why energy follows attention. Your reality is shaped by what you repeatedly focus on. In quantum physics, there is something called the observer effect. Scientists have found that subatomic particles exist in a state of pure potential, waves of probability, until they are observed. The moment attention is placed on them, they collapse into physical form. What does this mean? It means your attention literally influences reality at a fundamental level. When you focus on your vision with full emotional intent and certainty, you are interacting with the quantum field and pulling that potential into form. But if you split your focus, one day believing, the next day doubting, you are sending mixed signals to the field and your manifestation remains in a wave state, never fully materializing. You must lock your attention onto your future as if it is already done. How to become the version of you that already has what you desire? Close your eyes and imagine yourself in the future where your desire is already fulfilled. Feel it deeply. What does your body feel like? What do your surroundings look like? How do people respond to you? The more real you can make this, the more your body believes it. The key is to feel the gratitude, love, joy, or abundance as if it's already happening. Emotions are the energetic charge that magnetizes your future to you. If you were already abundant, how would you act? If you were already in love, how would you show up in the world? If you were already successful, how would you carry yourself? Move in silence and let your energy do the talking. When you feel the urge to prove or explain, remind yourself, I don't need to convince anyone. I already am. You don't allow their fears, their conditioning, their subconscious programming to infiltrate your field. You maintain control over your state of mind. You stay in a flow state where you are aligned with your vision, free from external noise. And then when your manifestation materializes, when your results speak for themselves, that's when people notice. Because true power doesn't announce itself, it simply is. The highest level of manifestation is not about talking your vision into existence. It's about being the vision before it happens. So here's my challenge to you. Instead of telling people what you're going to do, silently become the person who has already done it. Instead of seeking validation, validate yourself. Instead of looking for reassurance, live in the knowing that your future is already real. And when you do this, when you truly embody your vision, you won't need to say a word because the universe will say it for you. Now that you understand the deep, powerful principles of manifestation, how energy flows where attention goes, and how the quantum field responds to who you are, not just what you say, it's time to take this knowledge and make it real in your life. Remember, you are not a passive observer in your own story. You are the creator. The energy you radiate, the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, all of these are shaping your reality in ways you may not even fully understand yet. But they are working, always working, to bring you closer to the life you dream of. The key is in becoming the person who has already realized that dream. It's in aligning your inner world with your outer reality before the world even reflects it back to you. You don't need to beg the universe for what you want. You don't need to wait for some future moment to feel joy, abundance, or success. You have the power right now to embody the feelings of your future self and draw that reality to you. And when you become that person, when you live from that state of knowing, it's only a matter of time before the universe aligns everything to match your energy. So I want you to leave here with this. You are the creator of your life. No dream is too big, no vision too bold. The moment you stop waiting for the outside world to change and start changing your inner world, everything will begin to shift around you. You are worthy of the life you desire. You are capable of manifesting more than you ever thought possible. And the journey starts now with the power of your mind, your energy, and your unwavering belief in yourself. Keep your focus clear, keep your heart open, and keep your energy aligned with your highest vision. The world is waiting for you to show up and create something extraordinary.
Friends, listen closely. Something monumental is on its way. Something so profound that it has the potential to transform your life in ways you can barely imagine. And here's the truth. It's coming faster than you think. Now, this is not about waiting anxiously. Waiting is passive. Instead, this is about preparing your mind, your heart, and your consciousness to receive what is already destined for you. Everything begins within. Your imagination is the workshop where the future is created. Whatever you hold vividly in your mind, whatever you feel deeply in your heart becomes your reality. So begin to see yourself in the midst of this great change. Feel the joy, the peace, the triumph as though it is already here. When you inhabit that state, the universe responds instantly. Do not look at the circumstances around you as proof of limitation. The unseen is more real than the seen. Trust the invisible forces because they are already arranging everything for your success. What you cannot yet perceive is already aligning to deliver exactly what you have envisioned. The key is alignment. Your thoughts, words, and emotions must harmonize with the reality you expect. If your mind doubts or your heart fears, the speed of manifestation slows. But when your inner state is unwavering, when you live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the world bends in your favor. Opportunities will come, doors will open, and life will present itself in ways beyond your imagination. But remember, these blessings arrive for those who are ready to receive them. Inner readiness is the magnet that draws the external reality. Prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Prepare your heart to welcome greatness. Act as if now. Live in the state of the fulfilled vision and watch how rapidly life mirrors your inner world. Something big is coming. It's moving fast. Do not resist. Do not fear. And above all, stay ready. Because the moment you align with it fully, it becomes yours. Believe it, feel it, receive it. The time is closer than you think. Your imagination is far more powerful than you have been led to believe. It is not merely a tool for daydreaming or passing the time. It is the very doorway to your reality. Every experience you have ever had, every success you have ever achieved, began first as a thought, a vision, a feeling within. What you vividly see in your mind and feel in your heart is the blueprint that shapes the life you live. The outer world is simply a reflection of the inner world. When you learn to consciously direct your imagination, you take control of the reality that manifests around you. From a spiritual gnome and all pressure, the moment you allow yourself to fully experience a desired outcome in your imagination, you plant a seed in the fertile soil of your consciousness. This seed grows silently, yet powerfully, influencing every choice you make, every step you take, and every action you align yourself with. It is through the emotions you feel while imagining that the unseen begins to take form. Feeling the reality of what you desire, its joy, its peace, its triumph, is the signal to the universe that this is not a fantasy, but a living truth that you are ready to embody. Too often, people dismiss the importance of imagination, believing that only external actions matter. But external circumstances cannot create themselves without first being conceived internally. Every invention, every breakthrough, every great achievement began as an internal vision. Those who master this inner power do not wait for life to hand them opportunities. They create the opportunities through the force of their imagination. They see, they feel, they know the outcome is already theirs. And life conspires to bring it into manifestation. This is why it is crucial to guard your imagination carefully. What you repeatedly envision shapes not just your expectations, but your experiences. If you dwell on fear, doubt, or limitation, these too will materialize. But if you focus consistently on clarity, success, and fulfillment, your mind becomes a magnet for circumstances that mirror these states. It is not magic, it is natural law. The world around you is always responding to the signals sent from your inner consciousness. To harness the power of your imagination, immerse yourself fully in the experience you wish to create. Close your eyes and see the life you desire with as much detail as possible. Hear the sounds, see the colors, sense the emotions. Live in the feeling of the reality you want to become. Make it vivid, make it alive. When you do this regularly, your imagination stops being a passive activity and becomes an active, dynamic force shaping your destiny. Your imagination is not separate from reality. It is the invisible architect of it. Everything that exists first existed as an idea, as a feeling, as a vision within someone's mind. By embracing your inner vision consciously, deliberately, and with faith, you step into the role of creator of your own life. What you see and feel within is not mere fantasy. It is the future in gestation, waiting to be born into your experience. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to live in the state of the outcome you desire before it has physically manifested. Most people wait for circumstances to align before allowing themselves to feel success, love, health, or abundance. They believe that the outer world must first confirm their desires before they can rejoice or rest in satisfaction. This approach is reversed from the natural law of manifestation. Reality is created from the inside out. When you cultivate the inner conviction that your desire is already yours, you set in motion a force far more powerful than external effort alone. The universe responds not to your wishes, but to the state of being you occupy. To live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled is not mere pretending or wishful thinking. It is a deep, unwavering emotional conviction that what you desire is already real. It involves sensing it, experiencing it, and allowing it to influence every thought, decision, and action. Imagine for a moment that your desire has already come true. Feel the relief, joy, and gratitude as though it has been delivered. Let this feeling dominate your inner world and watch how it changes your perception of circumstances. You begin to notice opportunities, people, and events that align with your reality. You act from a place of confidence, magnetism, and clarity because your internal state dictates your external life. Many fail to realize that assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is not a one-time mental exercise. It requires consistency and persistence. every doubt, every fear, every flicker of disbelief interrupts the current of manifestation. Your inner state must remain steadfast, holding the reality of the fulfilled desire without wavering, regardless of what your senses report. This is because the outer world is a reflection, not the source of reality. By maintaining your inner conviction, you accelerate the arrival of your desire as if you are pulling it toward you with invisible hands. The key is to cultivate a vivid emotional experience of the fulfilled wish. Picture the scenarios in which your desire exists. Hear the sounds, sense the environment, and immerse yourself fully in the emotions that accompany it. Gratitude is particularly potent. It signals to your subconscious that what you desire is already a present reality. The more real and alive you make this inner experience, the quicker it materializes externally. You do not need to chase it or question when it will arrive. You only need to sustain the feeling, knowing that the universe is compelled to respond. Assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled also transforms your behavior. You begin to make choices that are consistent with the life you imagine. Your actions are no longer desperate attempts to create the outcome. They become expressions of the reality you already inhabit internally. You attract the right circumstances, people, and opportunities because your entire being vibrates with the certainty of fulfillment. The power of this practice lies in living from the end rather than waiting for the means. When you embrace the reality of your desire within, you align yourself with the invisible current that shapes life itself. The wish fulfilled is no longer a distant dream. It is your present state of being. And in that state, its manifestation is inevitable. Faith in the invisible is the cornerstone of all creation and transformation. It is the quiet, unwavering trust that what cannot yet be seen, heard, or touched is already at work, shaping the circumstances of your life. Most people rely solely on what is visible to them, measuring possibilities and outcomes by the evidence of the senses. They wait for proof before they act, and in doing so, they limit themselves to what is already manifest. But the true power of life flows from the unseen. The invisible forces, intelligence, energy, and consciousness are constantly at work, forming, guiding, and arranging everything before it appears in the material world. To live in faith is to align yourself with this creative current, trusting that the outcome you desire is already in motion. Faith in the invisible begins with belief in your inner awareness. Whatever you can imagine, feel, or sense within is a signal to the universe, a blueprint that guides the unfolding of reality. When you hold steadfast to your vision, even without external confirmation, you are participating in the act of creation. Doubt or hesitation acts like a barrier, slowing the flow of manifestation, while unwavering faith clears the path, allowing events to align in perfect timing. Those who understand this principle know that the unseen is more powerful than the seen. What you experience externally is always preceded by a corresponding internal reality. By cultivating faith, you are choosing to operate from a higher perspective, from the place of knowing rather than questioning. Living with faith in the invisible requires patience and persistence. It is not a fleeting hope, but a deep conviction that what is meant for you is already forming, regardless of appearances. The mind may present challenges showing lack, delay, or obstacles, but these are temporary illusions that cannot alter the underlying current of creation. Faith teaches you to look beyond the surface, to trust that the unseen order is orchestrating circumstances in your favor. This trust brings peace, reduces anxiety, and allows you to move confidently through life. You begin to notice subtle signs, synchronicities, and opportunities that confirm the invisible work already in progress. Faith also transforms your actions. When you trust the unseen, you act from a place of certainty rather than fear. Your choices are guided by alignment with your inner vision, not by reaction to external limitations. You attract people, resources, and situations that correspond to your inner belief, because the universe always reflects the state of consciousness from which you operate. Each step becomes a conscious collaboration with the unseen forces, accelerating the materialization of your desire. Faith in the invisible is the recognition that life is not random and that every outcome is the result of deliberate creative processes beyond ordinary perception. The unseen is alive, intelligent, and responsive to your inner state. By cultivating unwavering trust in this invisible order, you are not merely waiting for life to happen, you are co-creating it. The things you cannot yet see are already shaping themselves according to your awareness, and your faith is the bridge that brings them into reality. Alignment with your desire is the invisible key that determines the speed and ease with which your dreams manifest. It is not enough to wish, hope, or even imagine. Your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs must resonate in perfect harmony with the reality you are expecting. When every aspect of your consciousness reflects the life you desire, you become a magnet for circumstances, people, and opportunities that match that state. Misalignment, however, creates resistance. Doubt, fear, or contradictory beliefs act like barriers, slowing the flow of manifestation and delaying the arrival of your desires. True alignment, on the other hand, removes obstacles effortlessly, allowing the current of life to carry your vision into form with ease. Alignment begins with clarity. You must know exactly what you desire, not in vague terms, but in vivid detail. The mind cannot harmonize with a half-formed idea. It responds to what is specific and fully realized in consciousness. Once your desire is clear, every thought and feeling should reinforce it. Avoid entertaining doubts or contradictory notions. Do not let worry about how or when it will come disturb your inner state. Your responsibility is to maintain the feeling and belief that your desire is already real. When your inner world consistently reflects this certainty, external reality has no choice but to conform. Emotions play a crucial role in alignment. It is not enough to think correctly, you must feel correctly. Your feelings are the language through which the universe recognizes your inner state. Joy, gratitude, and confidence are powerful signals that you are in harmony with your desire. Negative emotions, even subtle ones like impatience or insecurity, generate resistance and slow the process. Therefore, cultivating a consistent emotional experience that matches the fulfilled state of your wish is essential. Feel the satisfaction, the peace, and the success as though it is already yours, and your alignment becomes unshakable. Belief completes the triad of alignment. You must fully trust that your desire is inevitable, that it is already in motion, and that no external circumstance can alter its course. Belief is not mere hope or wishful thinking. It is an unshakable inner knowing that shapes every perception and action. When thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are synchronized, your inner frequency resonates with the reality you seek. and the world responds accordingly. Alignment also influences action, though not in the usual sense of forced effort or struggle. Actions inspired by aligned consciousness flow naturally and effortlessly. You are guided to the right decisions, the right people, and the right opportunities. Misaligned effort, driven by fear or doubt, often leads to frustration and delays. Alignment, however, creates effortless momentum. Life itself begins to conspire in your favor, arranging circumstances that reflect the perfection of your inner state. Alignment with your desire is about becoming the state of the fulfilled wish. It is living in the inner reality of your dream, in thought, feeling, and belief. Resistance disappears and the manifestation unfolds with grace. The life you are expecting does not merely arrive, it is drawn irresistibly to you because your entire being resonates with it. In alignment, the invisible and visible merge, and your desires become reality. Inner readiness is the secret behind every opportunity that comes your way. Life does not deliver blessings randomly. It responds to the consciousness you hold, the inner state you cultivate, and the level of preparedness within you. Those who wait for the perfect moment or external validation often miss the opportunities that are already present because they have not developed the internal capacity to receive them. External circumstances mirror your inner world. When you are prepared internally, when your mind, emotions, and beliefs are aligned with the life you desire, the world naturally presents opportunities that match your readiness. Conversely, if you remain internally scattered, doubtful, or unprepared, even the most favorable circumstances will pass unnoticed or unutilized. Preparation begins within. To be ready is not merely to acquire knowledge or skills. It is to cultivate a state of consciousness that resonates with your desired reality. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs must be in harmony with what you wish to attract. This involves clarity of vision, emotional alignment, and unwavering faith that what you desire is already on its way. When you hold this state consistently, the world responds to it. People, circumstances, and situations appear in perfect timing, as if life itself recognizes your readiness and delivers exactly what you can receive. Inner readiness also involves the discipline to focus your energy. Life constantly tests your alignment, presenting distractions, doubts, and challenges. Those who are prepared internally navigate these tests without losing their inner equilibrium. They do not react impulsively to every circumstance, but maintain a centered state that reflects their vision. This inner preparedness acts like a magnet, drawing opportunities toward them effortlessly. You are not forcing life to deliver. You are simply aligning yourself with the flow of manifestation, so that when an opportunity arises, you recognize it immediately and act decisively. Opportunities are always present. The challenge is perception. A person who is unready may overlook possibilities because their consciousness is not attuned to them. They see obstacles instead of openings, limitations instead of potential. When you prepare yourself internally, your perception shifts. You begin to notice what others miss. Doors that seem closed reveal hidden pathways. People who were previously irrelevant become valuable allies. Situations that seemed coincidental are now understood as divinely orchestrated opportunities. The external world becomes a mirror of your inner readiness. Inner readiness creates outer opportunity because the universe responds to your state of being, not your frantic effort. When your inner world matches the reality you desire, life cannot help but reflect that state. You begin to move through a world filled with possibilities, guided by a subtle but undeniable force that directs you toward the experiences and circumstances that serve your vision. Every action becomes inspired, every choice becomes aligned, and the seemingly random events of life begin to form a coherent, purposeful path. Readiness is not about waiting, it is about becoming. The more you cultivate your inner state, the more effortlessly the outer world provides. The universe rewards those who are prepared internally, and in that preparedness, external opportunities appear naturally, perfectly timed and fully aligned with your inner vision. The world responds to consciousness, and when you are ready, life meets you exactly where you are. Act as if now is to live fully in the reality of your desired outcome before it is physically manifested. Most people postpone their joy, success, or fulfillment until some future condition is met. They wait for the promotion, the relationship, the financial breakthrough, or the achievement before allowing themselves to feel or behave as though it is already theirs. This approach keeps desire perpetually in the future and delays its arrival. The principle of act as if now reverses this process. By embodying the state of the fulfilled wish in the present moment, you plant the seeds of reality in the fertile soil of your consciousness. The assumptions, feelings, and expectations you carry now are not idle fantasies. They are the very foundation from which your coming reality grows. Acting as if requires complete immersion in the feeling of the desired state. Imagine your life exactly as you wish it to be. Sense it, live it internally, and allow your thoughts, words, and behaviors to reflect this reality. This is not a superficial pretense, but a deep, unwavering assumption that what you desire is already here. Your inner world is the blueprint, and every choice you make, every action you take, must be consistent with this blueprint. When your present actions align with the state of the fulfilled wish, you send a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive, and life responds accordingly. The assumptions you hold in your mind are particularly powerful. If you assume that you are already successful, loved, abundant, or fulfilled, you automatically align your behavior, your speech, and your focus with that reality. Conversely, assumptions of lack, limitation, or delay create internal resistance that slows manifestation. Acting as if now means consciously choosing assumptions that serve your desire. It is the deliberate cultivation of an inner state that corresponds perfectly with the future you wish to experience. Feelings are equally critical. Thought alone is insufficient without emotion. The universe responds to the vibrational quality of your inner state. Feel the joy, the confidence, the peace, and the gratitude that accompany the fulfillment of your desire. Allow these feelings to permeate every aspect of your consciousness. The more intensely you live in this state, the more rapidly the outer world conforms to match it. Acting as if now turns your inner reality into a powerful magnet for external events. Expectations complete the equation. Expectation is the inner certainty that the desired outcome is inevitable. When you act as if now, you maintain the confident expectation that the future has already arrived. This expectation guides your attention, influences your decisions, and shapes your perception, revealing opportunities and pathways that align with your assumed state. Life begins to mirror your inner certainty, bringing the invisible into visible form. To act as if now is to live in the creative power of your consciousness. Your present assumptions, feelings, and expectations are the seeds from which reality blossoms. By embodying the fulfilled state today, you invite the future into your present. accelerating its arrival and transforming your life with grace and inevitability. The future is already yours. Act as if it is, and it will be. As we come to the close of this message, remember this: something big is coming into your life, and it's moving faster than you think. The seeds you have planted in your imagination, the feelings you have assumed, the faith you have held in the unseen, and the alignment you have cultivated are all working together to bring your desires into manifestation. Stay ready, stay steadfast, and continue to act from the state of the fulfilled wish, because your readiness determines the speed and ease with which your future unfolds. Trust the invisible. Nurture your inner vision and let your consciousness be the guiding force that attracts everything you have envisioned. Thank you for listening, believing, and taking the first step toward the extraordinary life that is already on its way to you. Stay ready and watch as the impossible becomes inevitable.
What if I told you that right now, as you're listening to this, there are infinite versions of your life playing out simultaneously? Versions where you're living exactly what you dream of, where every door opens effortlessly, where abundance flows naturally. They're not fantasies. They're actual realities existing in parallel dimensions, just waiting for you to tune into their frequency. But here's what nobody tells you about why you're stuck in this particular version, experiencing the same patterns, the same struggles, the same disappointing outcomes over and over again. You think you're trapped by circumstances, by bad luck, by timing. But the truth is far more empowering than that. You're broadcasting a signal. Every second of every day, your thoughts, emotions, and physical state are transmitting a specific frequency into what quantum physicists call the field of infinite potential. And that field, it's been responding perfectly to your signal all along. The problem is, you've been unconsciously broadcasting the frequency of your current reality instead of your desired one. Most people spend their entire lives trying to change their circumstances while completely ignoring the transmitter themselves. They're like someone trying to change the radio station by yelling at the speakers instead of turning the dial. And then they wonder why the same song keeps playing. But what if changing your reality was actually simpler than you've been told? What if it wasn't about working harder, pushing more, or even believing stronger? What if it was about something far more elegant, becoming the person who naturally lives in that reality? Let me share something that will completely shift how you see this. Every great breakthrough in human history, from Tesla's electrical innovations to Einstein's relativity, came from people who understood that reality isn't fixed. They knew that consciousness and physical reality are intimately connected, that observation literally changes what we observe. Tesla himself said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." He wasn't speaking metaphorically. He was giving us the actual operating manual for reality. And here's something incredible. Tesla discovered these principles by tuning into frequencies that others couldn't perceive. He would literally visualize his inventions in complete detail, run them in his mind for weeks, make adjustments, and only then build the physical version. He was manipulating reality at the quantum level, before quantum physics even existed as a field of study. But Tesla wasn't unique in this ability. Throughout history, visionaries from Leonardo da Vinci to Steve Jobs all operated from this same understanding. They didn't just have good ideas. They learned to align their consciousness with realities that didn't yet exist in physical form. They became bridges between the quantum field of possibility and the material world. Here's where it gets fascinating. Modern neuroscience has discovered that 95% of your daily actions come from your subconscious mind, the part that's been programmed by every experience, trauma, and belief you've accumulated throughout your life. So while your conscious mind is declaring, "I want abundance," your subconscious might be broadcasting, "I'm not worthy of receiving it," based on something that happened when you were 7 years old. This is why affirmations feel empty for so many people. This is why vision boards collect dust. This is why you can read every manifestation book and still find yourself in the same exact patterns. You're trying to override a 95% signal with a 5% intention. But here's the fascinating part about how your subconscious actually works. It doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's vividly imagined. It doesn't understand time, past, present, and future are all processed the same way. This is why trauma from decades ago can still trigger the same stress response as if it's happening right now. But it's also why you can literally program new realities into your system. Think about this. Every night when you dream, your subconscious mind accepts the most bizarre scenarios as completely real. You're flying, talking to deceased relatives, living in impossible landscapes, and none of it seems strange while you're experiencing it. Your nervous system responds as if these dream experiences are actually happening. Your heart rate changes. You produce stress hormones. You experience genuine emotions. This reveals something profound about the nature of reality itself. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you truly embody the feeling of already living your desired reality, not just thinking about it, but feeling it in your body, breathing it, moving from that place, your nervous system starts encoding those experiences as memories. Scientists studying the brain have found that when people repeatedly visualize specific experiences with full sensory detail, the same neural networks activate as when they actually live those experiences. Your brain literally begins to remember a future that hasn't happened yet. This creates what researchers call prospective memory. Your mind starts expecting these experiences to occur because they already feel familiar. Think about that for a moment. You can literally create memories of a future that hasn't happened yet. And once your subconscious mind recognizes these experiences as familiar, it stops resisting them and starts seeking them out. It begins to notice opportunities, synchronicities, and possibilities that align with these remembered futures. This is why certain numbers, symbols, and frequencies feel so powerful to people. Your consciousness naturally recognizes universal patterns because you're made of the same fundamental vibrations. When you encounter sacred geometry or specific number sequences like 369 or 777, you're not having a mystical experience. You're literally tuning your biofield to align with universal harmonics. Ancient civilizations understood this perfectly. The Egyptians built their pyramids using precise mathematical ratios that create specific frequencies. The Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance, incorporates the golden ratio and generates electromagnetic frequencies that researchers are only now beginning to understand. Indigenous cultures worldwide used drumming and chanting to shift consciousness and reality. They weren't engaging in superstition. They were working with quantum mechanics before we had words for it. Consider the Aboriginal concept of dream time. They understood that there's a dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously, and that skilled individuals could navigate between different reality streams. Tibetan monks have been documenting techniques for consciousness-based reality shifting for over 1,000 years. Hindu scriptures describe multiple layers of reality that consciousness can access through specific practices. These weren't primitive belief systems. These were sophisticated technologies of consciousness that modern science is only now beginning to validate. Researchers studying advanced meditators have found that they can literally change their brainwave patterns at will, accessing states of consciousness that correlate with increased intuition, expanded awareness, and what can only be described as direct knowing. But here's where most people get tripped up. They think transformation requires massive dramatic changes. They're waiting for some cosmic permission slip or external validation before they start living differently. But quantum reality responds to coherence, not magnitude. A small action performed with pure aligned intention carries more vibrational power than a huge gesture performed from desperation. Let me give you a concrete example. If you're shifting toward prosperity, embodiment might mean breathing deeply when scarcity thoughts arise instead of spiraling into panic. It might mean expressing genuine gratitude for the money you do have, amplifying the signal of I am provided for. It might mean spending with presence and trust, rather than fear and shame. But let's go deeper into what this actually looks like in practice. Say you're in line at the grocery store and you notice yourself calculating every purchase, feeling anxious about money. The old version of you would either suppress this feeling or get caught in a spiral of worry. The quantum-aligned version recognizes this as an opportunity to shift frequency. You take 3 conscious breaths, place your hand on your heart, and remember, I am supported. Resources flow to me easily. You make your purchases from a place of trust, rather than fear. This might seem like a small thing, but here's what's happening at the quantum level. Every time you choose the new response over the old pattern, you're literally rewiring your nervous system. You're creating new neural pathways that support abundance consciousness. You're transmitting a different frequency to the field, and the field is always listening, always responding. The version of you who has what you desire isn't waiting in some distant future. They're vibrating right now on a frequency you can access today. The question is, are you willing to tune into it before you see the evidence? This is where it gets really interesting. Quantum physicists have discovered something called the observer effect. The fact that conscious observation literally affects physical reality at the subatomic level. But it goes even deeper than that. Recent studies suggest that consciousness itself might be a fundamental force in the universe, like gravity or electromagnetism. You're not just hoping for a different reality. You're actually participating in creating it through your consciousness every single moment. Your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and expectations are quantum forces influencing the probability waves around you. This is why 2 people can have completely different experiences of the same situation. They're literally collapsing different quantum possibilities based on their internal state. Think about the placebo effect. People who receive sugar pills but believe they're getting powerful medicine often experience real, measurable healing. Their brain scans show actual changes. Their blood work improves. Their symptoms disappear. The belief literally becomes biology. In some studies, the placebo effect has been shown to be as powerful as actual medications for conditions ranging from depression to chronic pain. Now expand that concept beyond medicine. What if your beliefs about money, relationships, health, and success are creating measurable effects in those areas? What if every limiting belief you carry is literally programming your reality to reflect those limitations? And what if every empowering belief you truly embody is programming reality to reflect those possibilities? There's a study that perfectly illustrates this. Researchers took hotel housekeepers and divided them into 2 groups. They told one group that their daily work, cleaning rooms, making beds, vacuuming, was actually excellent exercise that met all the Surgeon General's recommendations for physical activity. The other group received no information. After just 4 weeks, the group that was told their work was exercise showed significant improvements in weight, body fat, blood pressure, and overall health. Same work, same routine, different belief about what they were doing. Their beliefs literally changed their biology. But here's the encouraging part. You don't need to fight your current signal. You just need to stop reinforcing it. Every time you catch yourself thinking, feeling, or acting from the old reality, and gently guide yourself back to the new frequency, you strengthen the transformation. The most successful reality shifters I've studied don't just think about their desired outcomes. They live in them mentally and emotionally multiple times per day, until those experiences feel more real than their current circumstances. They're literally rehearsing their new reality until it becomes the dominant program in their subconscious mind. I know someone who was struggling financially for years. She tried everything: budgeting, side hustles, manifestation techniques, but nothing seemed to work. Then she started spending 20 minutes every morning vividly imagining herself as someone who was naturally abundant. Not just visualizing money, but embodying the feeling of being someone for whom money flows easily. She imagined how she would walk, talk, make decisions, interact with others from this abundant state. She pictured herself confidently investing, generously tipping, buying gifts without calculating the cost. She felt the relaxation in her shoulders when money wasn't a constant worry. She experienced the freedom of making choices based on joy rather than financial limitations. After about 6 weeks of this practice, opportunities started appearing that she'd never noticed before. Within 6 months, her income had tripled, not through any dramatic external change, but through a shift in how she was showing up in the world. The key wasn't that she visualized money coming to her. The key was that she became the type of person that money naturally flows to. She aligned her frequency with abundance consciousness. There's a technique I want to share with you that can accelerate this entire process. It's called coherent breathing, and it's incredibly simple. When you breathe in a rhythm of 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out, you naturally shift your nervous system into a state of coherence. In this state, your heart, mind, and emotions synchronize, creating an incredibly powerful electromagnetic field. Your heart actually has its own neural network, literally a heart brain with over 40,000 neurons. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart is 5,000 times stronger than your brain's field and can be measured several feet away from your body. When your heart rhythms become coherent through practices like gratitude or compassion, this creates a cascade of positive changes throughout your entire system. But let's go deeper into the science of this. The HeartMath Institute has been studying heart coherence for over 30 years. They found that when your heart rhythm patterns become coherent, it triggers a favorable shift in your nervous system. Your parasympathetic nervous system activates, stress hormones decrease, and anti-aging hormones increase. Your immune function improves dramatically. Your brain synchronizes with your heart, leading to enhanced cognitive function, emotional stability, and intuitive insight. Even more fascinating, they've discovered that one person in a state of heart coherence can measurably affect the heart rhythms of people around them. When researchers monitor the heart rhythms of people in the same room, they find that one person's coherent state can influence everyone else's physiology. This suggests that coherence is literally contagious at an energetic level. This has profound implications for reality creation. When you're in a state of coherence, you're not just changing your internal state, you're affecting the quantum field around you. You're becoming a source of coherent energy that influences probability waves in your favor. But here's what I need you to understand. This isn't about perfection. You will wobble, you will slip back into old patterns. You'll catch yourself thinking negatively, feeling fearful, or acting from scarcity. This doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. This is part of the process. The power isn't in never falling. It's in how quickly you return. Every time you notice yourself slipping into the old frequency and choose coherence over chaos, you reinforce the new reality. It's like training a muscle. Each time you catch yourself and consciously choose the aligned response, you're strengthening your capacity to hold the new frequency. Most people approach this like a single event. They visualize, they affirm, they wait. And when results don't appear immediately, they collapse back into the old frequency, not understanding that the true magic is in staying. Sustainability is the master key of quantum breakthrough. This means developing the emotional and energetic capacity to return again and again to alignment. Not forcing yourself to feel positive all the time, but learning to catch yourself when you're off track and gently choose the new reality instead. Let me share what this looks like in daily life. You wake up and before your feet hit the floor, you ask yourself, what frequency am I bringing into today? You notice if you're carrying anxiety about your to-do list or trust that everything will flow. You set an intention to embody your desired reality throughout the day. As you go through your morning routine, you pay attention to how you're moving through space. Are you rushing and stressed, or moving with the grace of someone who trusts that there's always enough time? When you interact with others, are you coming from a place of need and scarcity, or from wholeness and abundance? Throughout the day, you practice what I call micro-alignment. These are small moments where you consciously choose the new reality over the old pattern. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting instead of staying silent. Maybe it's choosing to trust instead of worry when your partner is late coming home. Maybe it's deciding to rest when you're tired instead of pushing through from old programming that equates busyness with worthiness. Each of these moments seems insignificant, but they're actually quantum choice points. Each time you choose alignment over old patterns, you're literally shifting your reality at the fundamental level. Here's something crucial about your environment. Quantum entanglement applies to consciousness too. When two particles become entangled, changing one instantly affects the other regardless of distance. Science has proven this phenomenon at the subatomic level, but the implications extend far beyond physics. You become entangled with the consciousness of people you spend time with, places you frequent, even content you consume. If you're constantly surrounded by people who complain, focus on problems, and operate from victim consciousness, their quantum field will continuously pull you back toward those patterns. It's not their fault, and it's not yours. It's just physics. This is why during periods of intensive transformation, many successful reality shifters temporarily limit their exposure to certain people, environments, and even news or social media. They're not being antisocial or spiritual snobs. They're managing their quantum environment to support their new reality rather than reinforce their old one. I had a client who was shifting from a pattern of toxic relationships to attracting healthy love. She realized that many of her friends bonded through complaining about men and sharing stories of romantic disappointment. While she loved these friends, she recognized that every coffee date was reinforcing her old programming about relationships being difficult and men being unreliable. She didn't cut off these friendships, but she did start limiting the time she spent in conversations focused on relationship problems. Instead, she sought out friends who were in healthy relationships, joined activities where she could meet people operating from a different paradigm, and consumed content that reinforced her new beliefs about love being natural and available. Within 3 months, she met her current partner, someone completely different from her previous pattern. But the shift wasn't magical. It was strategic. She managed her quantum environment to support her transformation. There's another layer to this that most people miss: the influence of collective consciousness. Researchers studying global coherence have found that major world events correlate with changes in the Earth's electromagnetic field. During times of collective trauma, stress, or celebration, sensitive instruments can measure actual changes in the planet's energetic state. This means you're not just influenced by the people immediately around you, you're also affected by the consciousness of your community, your country, and humanity as a whole. This is why it's so important to consciously choose what you feed your mind. Every piece of news you consume, every conversation you engage in, every piece of content you watch is either raising your frequency or lowering it. But here's the empowering part. When you commit to holding a coherent frequency, you're not just transforming your own reality, you're contributing to the upliftment of collective consciousness. Every time you choose love over fear, trust over worry, or generosity over scarcity, you're adding coherence to the global field. There's one more level I want to share about gratitude that most people miss. There are actually 3 levels, and only the third creates quantum transformation. The first is gratitude for what you already have: your health, your family, your home. This is beautiful and important, but it mostly maintains your current reality. It keeps you in appreciation of the present, without necessarily creating momentum for change. The second is gratitude for positive changes that are happening: new opportunities, improving relationships, increasing abundance. This accelerates positive momentum and helps you recognize and appreciate progress as it unfolds. But the third level is where quantum magic happens. This is gratitude for experiences that haven't manifested yet, but that you're so aligned with that you can feel them as already complete. This isn't positive thinking or wishful hoping. This is a deep cellular knowing that these experiences are already real in the quantum field and are simply moving into physical form. When you can feel genuine gratitude for the love that's coming, the abundance that's flowing, the opportunities that are appearing, not as future possibilities, but as existing realities, you create what physicists call retrocausality. You're literally allowing your future to influence your present. This is advanced consciousness work, and it takes practice. But when you master this level of gratitude, reality becomes incredibly responsive to your intention. You're no longer trying to create something from nothing. You're aligning with something that already exists and feeling grateful for its inevitable appearance in your physical experience. I remember working with someone who was starting a business. Instead of feeling grateful only when sales came in, she practiced feeling grateful for the clients who were already seeking her services but hadn't found her yet. She would wake up each morning and feel genuine appreciation for all the people whose lives would be transformed by her work, even though most of them didn't know she existed yet. This wasn't delusional thinking. It was quantum alignment. Within 6 months, her business had exceeded her first-year goals. But more importantly, she enjoyed the journey because she was living in gratitude rather than constantly focused on what was lacking. Let me share something about the role of resistance that might surprise you. Most people think resistance is the enemy of transformation. They try to push through it, overcome it, or eliminate it entirely. But resistance is actually information. It's your system's way of showing you exactly where your old programming is stored. When you feel resistance to taking an aligned action, your nervous system is essentially saying, "This feels unfamiliar and potentially dangerous. Let's stick with what we know." But what it doesn't realize is that what feels safe is actually keeping you trapped in outcomes you don't want. So instead of fighting resistance, you can use it as a compass. The things you feel most resistant to are often exactly the actions that will create the biggest shifts in your reality. Not because struggle is necessary, but because these actions represent the biggest departures from your old programming. There's something else I want to address about timing that causes a lot of people to give up just before their breakthrough. Quantum reality doesn't operate on linear time, the way our minds expect it to. Sometimes changes happen instantly. You shift frequency and immediately notice synchronicities, opportunities, or shifts in how people respond to you. But sometimes there's what I call a gestation period, where you're holding the new frequency, but the physical reality is still catching up. This is similar to planting a seed. Just because you don't see the plant immediately doesn't mean nothing is happening. Below the surface, roots are growing, the soil is shifting, energy is building. During these gestation periods, it's crucial to maintain your frequency without getting discouraged by the lack of visible progress. This is where most people falter. They start strong, hold the new frequency for a few weeks or months, but then get discouraged when they don't see dramatic external changes and slip back into old patterns. But here's what's actually happening during these periods. Your external reality is reorganizing to match your new frequency. Opportunities are aligning. People are being moved into position. Circumstances are shifting in ways you can't yet see. The field is responding to your signal, but it takes time for complex changes to manifest in physical form. Think of it like ordering something online. The moment you place the order and pay, that item belongs to you. It's already yours, even though it hasn't arrived yet. You don't keep reordering because you don't see it immediately. You track the package and trust the process. The same principle applies to reality creation. The moment you truly align with a new frequency and hold it consistently, that reality belongs to you. It's already yours in the quantum field. Now it's just a matter of maintaining the frequency while it makes its way into physical form. I want to share one more crucial element about why some people experience rapid manifestations while others seem to struggle. It comes down to what I call energetic attachment to outcomes. When you're desperately attached to a specific result happening in a specific time frame, you're actually broadcasting the frequency of lack and need rather than abundance and trust. The quantum field responds to your energetic state, not your mental desires. So when you're pushing, forcing, or anxiously waiting for something to manifest, you're transmitting the signal that you don't have it yet, that you're incomplete without it. And the field keeps reflecting that incomplete state back to you. The people who experience the most effortless manifestations are those who can hold a clear intention while remaining unattached to how or when it unfolds. They're like master gardeners who plant seeds with care and attention, then trust the natural process without digging them up every day to check on progress. This doesn't mean being passive or uncommitted to your desires. It means being fully aligned with what you want, while trusting that the universe knows the perfect timing and method for delivery. It means being excited about your vision, while being equally content with your present reality. When you can hold this balance, clear intention with relaxed detachment, you become irresistible to the quantum field. You're signaling that you're ready to receive while also showing that you're complete, whether or not you receive it. This paradoxical state is where miracles happen. So here's my invitation to you. In the next 24 hours, surprise yourself. Do one thing that belongs to the version of you living in your desired reality. Maybe it's a choice, a gesture, a conversation, or even a private shift in your mind. It doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be real. Maybe it's speaking up for yourself in a situation where you'd normally stay quiet. Maybe it's wearing something that makes you feel confident and powerful. Maybe it's having a conversation you've been avoiding, or setting a boundary you've been afraid to set. Maybe it's simply sitting quietly for 10 minutes and visualizing yourself living your dream life with such vivid detail that your body responds as if it's happening right now. Whatever you choose, do it with full presence and intention. Know that this single aligned action is sending ripples through the quantum field, setting in motion a chain of events that will bring your desired reality into form. Because here's the truth that I want to leave you with. You're not waiting for change. You are the change. You're not chasing the reality. You are becoming the reality. And when you truly embody that understanding, when you live it in your bones, rather than just understanding it with your mind, the quantum field has no choice but to respond. The version of you that you've been dreaming of isn't coming someday. They're here now, waiting for you to step into their frequency. They're not hiding in some distant future or locked behind impossible conditions. They exist right now in the quantum field of infinite possibility, ready to collapse into form the moment you align with their frequency. And alignment isn't something you have to achieve through years of practice or perfect conditions. It's something you can choose right now, in this moment, with your next breath, your next thought, your next action. The only question remaining is, are you ready to tune in?
There comes a time in every life when the invisible begins to make itself known, when the desires you once whispered in silence begin to echo into reality. That time, for you, is now. Something big is moving toward you. The shift is not coming. The shift is here. Everything you have imagined, everything you have prayed for, everything you have carried in the quiet chambers of your heart has already taken form in the unseen. You are not waiting for your blessing. Your blessing is waiting for you to recognize its arrival. Life has been rearranging itself behind the curtain. Doors that were once sealed are being unlocked. The path that looked uncertain is clearing. The impossible is becoming inevitable. Why? Because you dared to desire. Because you dared to imagine a life higher than the one you could currently see. Because you said yes in your spirit, even when your circumstances said no. The outer world may still reflect the old version of you, the version who doubted, who feared, who believed themselves stuck. But that reflection is fading. A new identity has formed within you, and the world must respond to that identity It has no choice. It is law. You are no longer who you once were. You no longer think the same thought. You no longer accept the same limits. You have shifted from hoping to knowing, from waiting to living, from yearning to receiving. Feel the change within you, that gentle but undeniable confidence rising, that inner voice that quietly declares, "It's already mine." That is the sign. That is the evidence. That is the proof of the transformation underway. Do not concern yourself with how or when. The how is never your job. The when is already in motion. The moment you assume the feeling of fulfillment, the universe began its march toward manifestation. Circumstances are aligning, people are being positioned, opportunities are forming that you cannot yet see, but soon you will. Soon you will walk into the very life you once only dared to picture. Soon, what was once a dream will become your daily reality. Soon you will look back and say, everything was shifting the entire time. I just needed eyes to see it. So stand tall, hold the feeling, act from the end, not toward it. Because something big is moving toward you. A breakthrough, a blessing, a chapter so beautiful it will erase the memory of the struggle it took to reach it. The shift is here. Welcome it. Believe it. Live it. It may seem your inner assumption is the gravitational force pulling your desires closer. It is not the effort, not the struggle, not the hours spent trying to make something happen that change your life. It is what you quietly accept as true within. Every assumption is like an unseen magnet, shaping the direction of your experiences, drawing to you the circumstances that match what you believe about yourself and your world. You are not consciously aware of how powerful your inner conclusions are, because they work in silence, beyond rational thought, beyond physical action. Yet they move mountains, shift realities, orchestrate events with exquisite precision. If you assume that abundance belongs in your life, life will find 1,000 ways to bring abundance to you. If you assume that love is your nature and your right, relationships will begin to reflect that truth. If you assume success, confidence, growth, transformation, all of these forces rush toward you like iron filings pulled to a magnet. The world responds not to what you want, but to what you assume. Desire without assumption is like a prayer without faith. It lacks the inner conviction that bridges the invisible to the visible. Assumption is the inner architect. It builds the blueprint long before you see the structure. You may look around and see delays, obstacles, and conditions that argue against your dream. But everything you see right now is only the past in physical form, a reflection of yesterday's assumptions. Change the assumption and the reflection must follow. It may take time for the world to catch up, but it must obey. There is no outer authority greater than the inner state you choose to occupy. Your mind is not waiting for permission from reality. Reality is waiting for instruction from your mind. When you shift your assumption, you shift the gravitational pull of your life. Suddenly, opportunities show up that were never there before. People appear who carry answers you've needed. Ideas flow that used to feel blocked. All because the magnet of your identity changed direction. Assume the feeling of already having your desire. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. When you do, something extraordinary happens. The desire stops being a thing out there trying to reach you and becomes something already possessed within you. The distance collapses. The waiting dissolves. The path reveals itself. You are no longer chasing what you want. You are aligning with what already belongs to you. You're always assuming something. The question is whether you are assuming limitation or possibility, fear or faith, lack or abundance. Your assumption is the silent choice you make every day. And today, you can choose a new outcome by choosing a new belief. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you assume to be true. Become the person who already has what you desire. Think like them, feel like them, live like them in imagination. Then watch as life moves to meet the version of you that you have already become. What you accept as true in imagination becomes your lived experience. Every outcome you have ever encountered began first as a thought, a belief, a picture within your inner world. Imagination is not a playground for fantasy, it is the workshop of creation. What you rehearse internally, you invite externally. When a thought becomes accepted as truth, when it is no longer a wish, but a certainty within, it begins to shape the very fabric of your reality. Your imagination builds the blueprint. Life follows the blueprint. When you vividly embody a state, wealth, love, healing, confidence, success, you are not pretending, you are establishing the cause. The world you see is only the effect. The moment you feel the truth of what you imagine, the universe starts shifting in alignment with that inner acceptance. People will show up, doors will open, opportunities will emerge that match the picture you've been holding in your mind. Most people wait for the environment to give them permission to believe. They wait for evidence before they accept their dream as real. But imagination is the evidence before the evidence. It is the preview of your future. If you require proof before belief, you delay the very proof you desire. The unseen must be believed before it can be seen. That is the law. When you imagine something consistently and emotionally, your subconscious mind takes it as fact. It does not distinguish between what is physically present and what is vividly felt. Whatever you mentally accept instructs your subconscious to reorder your life accordingly. You will move differently, you will speak differently, you will expect differently, and those internal shifts alter your path and your outcomes. If you imagine failure, you align with experiences that reinforce that assumption. If you imagine success with conviction, everything in your life begins to respond to that belief. Your imagination is the steering wheel of destiny. Turn it in the direction of your desire, and your life must follow. Turn it toward fear, and fear becomes the reality you walk into. Think of the great innovators, artists, and leaders throughout history. They lived in worlds that didn't yet exist. They saw what others could not see. They accepted their vision as true long before anyone else believed in it. And because they embraced that truth within, the world eventually had no choice but to catch up. This is not blind daydreaming. It is intentional creation. To imagine with belief is to plant the seed. To persist in that belief is to water it. And to refuse contradiction is to protect its growth. Eventually, the invisible becomes visible. Your imagination is your greatest asset. Honor it. Use it deliberately. Do not limit it to replaying your past. Let it construct your future. Accept the highest version of yourself as true. Live from the state of already having what you desire. Feel the fulfillment before the form. When you do, the form must appear. Your life expands or contracts to the boundaries of your imagination. Dare to imagine the extraordinary and accept it as real, and the extraordinary will arrive. The shift begins not with circumstances changing, but with you changing your perception. Everything in the outer world is a mirror reflecting the inner world. If you wait for conditions to improve before you choose a new belief, you remain bound to the very limitations you want to escape. Change does not come from struggle or external rearrangement. It comes from a subtle but powerful internal decision to see differently, to interpret differently, to choose a new meaning. Every situation you face is neutral until you assign it value. Two people can stand in the same place, look at the same set of facts, and walk away with two completely different realities. One sees possibility, the other sees defeat. The difference is not the circumstance, the difference is perception. Your perception is the lens through which you view life, and that lens determines the world you experience. When the lens is colored by fear, doubt, or past disappointment, everything appears constrained and uncertain. But when the lens is colored by belief, gratitude, and expectancy, the same world becomes full of opportunity and alignment. Perception functions like a filter. It selects what you notice, where you focus, and how you respond. If you believe life is against you, you will find evidence to support that story. If you believe life is moving in your favor, you will begin noticing signs, blessings, and support that were always there but unseen. Nothing changed outside, the shift happened within. There is a powerful truth. Your mind cannot accept a new reality while clinging to the old one. If you keep analyzing the present from the perspective of past limitations, you keep recreating the same outcome. The moment you choose a new perception, you create a new point of attraction. Suddenly, new ideas surface, new energy flows, and new actions feel natural. Your world has not changed yet, but because you have changed, your world must follow. Think of a radio. The music you hear depends entirely on the frequency you tune into. The songs already exist on countless frequencies around you, but you only experience the one you choose. Life works in the same way. When you shift your perception, you shift your frequency, and you begin to experience a reality that was already waiting for you. A transformation in perception is not denial. It is not pretending challenges don't exist. It is choosing to see beyond the temporary illusion of limitation and acknowledging that something greater is unfolding. It is choosing to trust the unseen more than the visible. It is choosing to stand in the identity of who you are becoming rather than who you have been. When you change the way you look at your life changes its shape. When you assume your desires are within reach, they begin to reach for you. The world rearranges, not because it decided to, but because you did. The shift you are waiting for is already here. It is taking place inside you, in your perception, in the way you choose to interpret this moment. Improve the inner vision, and the outer view will transform accordingly. Your future is a memory in advance. Walk in it boldly. The moment you picture a desire as already fulfilled, you pull the future into the present. You are not merely dreaming, You are remembering what is destined to unfold. When you hold a vision clearly enough, consistently enough, and confidently enough, it becomes a mental memory of a reality that has not yet entered time. You are rehearsing what you will later live. This is the power of imagination when combined with faith. Most people think the future is uncertain, that it is shaped by chance, luck, or external forces. But the truth is that the future is shaped by the state you assume now. If you assume failure, you prepare the path for it. If you assume greatness, the world begins aligning with that greatness. Every fulfilled dream was once a future memory someone dared to believe in without evidence. They felt ownership of it before anyone else could see reason to expect it. Walk as if your future is already known. Speak as if everything you have asked for is already yours. Make decisions from the identity of the person you are becoming, not the person you have been. When you shift your behavior to match the end result, you announce to life, I am ready. And life responds accordingly. You do not move toward your future moves toward you the moment you accept it as real. Your inner conviction becomes a magnet that draws the right people, possibilities, and synchronicities into your path. What looks like coincidence is the universe revealing the memory you planted within. Every aligned step you take is a reminder that the future you desire is not distant. It is unfolding. Walking boldly is a declaration of belief. It is a refusal to bow to temporary circumstances. The world may still reflect the old story, but you boldly inhabit the new one. You do not wait for permission to believe. You do not wait for validation to trust. You decide, you assume, you embody. This is how futures become facts. A memory does not require effort to recall. It simply exists, familiar, unquestionable, natural. When your desired future feels this real inside you, doubt loses its grip. You no longer ask if it will happen. The only question that remains is when. But even the when cannot disturb you, because you understand that time is simply the unfolding of what has already been accepted in imagination. Let your future be the story you remember every day, not the limitations you have lived before. Close your eyes and revisit the end. The success, the love, the breakthrough, the joy, the transformation. See it, feel it, claim it. Then walk into the day as the version of you who already knows the ending. Your future is not a random possibility. It is a certainty already written in the invisible. It is a memory waiting to be recognized. Live with the confidence of someone who has already arrived. Walk boldly, and the world will rise to meet the truth you carry within. The unseen is more real than the visible. Trust its movement. Everything tangible in your life today began as something invisible, an idea, a vision, a whisper of desire within the imagination. Before anything takes form, it must first exist in the realm that cannot be measured or touched. The invisible is the birthplace of the visible. What you experience in the physical world is simply the final stage of creation, the outer shell of a truth that was alive long before it appeared. Yet many people trust only what their eyes can see. They allow their faith to be governed by current conditions, forgetting that conditions are delayed reflections of past beliefs. By the time something appears, the inner creation has already occurred. The visible is always late, the unseen is always first. If you allow the present facts to dictate your future, you remain stuck in an endless loop of repeating the past. But if you trust the unseen, shifts happening within, your identity, your assumptions, your emotional alignment. You step into the realm where miracles are born. The unseen movement is subtle. You cannot always measure progress by external results. Sometimes nothing appears to be happening, yet everything is happening. The roots grow before the fruit appears. The seed breaks open long before the plant emerges. Transformation is silent long before it becomes visible. Do not mistake silence for stagnation. Do not confuse stillness with absence. Life is organizing details in the background, aligning people, opportunities, and timing to match the reality you have chosen inside. When you trust the unseen, you release the need to constantly check for proof. You stop questioning whether your desire is on its way and begin knowing that it is. You live in the confidence that the new reality is unfolding, even when your senses cannot yet detect it. This inner certainty becomes the very force that accelerates manifestation. Faith speeds up what doubt slows down. The invisible realm is responsive. It mirrors your state of being. When you assume that your blessing is here, the unseen moves with precision to reflect that truth. When you assume lack or fear, the unseen responds just as faithfully. It is always listening, always shaping, always translating your inner world into outer experience. Think of wind. You cannot see it, yet you see its effects. You trust its movement without needing to witness its form. The unseen forces of your life operate the same way. They move in response not to what you hope for, but to what you believe. They respond not to your wishes, but to your acceptance of already having the thing you desire. So trust what you feel rising within you, the quiet conviction, the shift in perspective, the new belief taking root. Those inner changes are the evidence that the invisible is already working in your favor. Live from the assurance that the unseen reality is the true reality. Continue to walk, not by sight, but by inner knowing. The unseen knows exactly where you are and where you are going. It is guiding you, shaping you, preparing you for the very experiences you have dared to imagine. Trust its movement, because soon the invisible will become undeniable. Something big is already on its way because you have already received it within. The moment a desire is accepted internally, the journey toward its physical expression has begun. You may not see anything shifting around you yet, but the shift has already taken place in the realm where creation begins. Inside your consciousness, what you feel as a quiet yes in your spirit, what you embrace as already yours in imagination, becomes the signal that sets universal movement into motion. Receiving within does not mean wishing or hoping. It means claiming. It means possessing the end result emotionally before it has taken form externally. When you feel the joy, the relief, the confidence, or the gratitude of having your desire now, you enter alignment with the version of reality where it is already true. This alignment becomes a magnet that draws the outer world into harmony with your inner conviction. People often believe that manifestation starts when something appears, but that is the final stage. By the time your blessing arrives, countless invisible arrangements have already been made. The universe has been shifting circumstances, adjusting timelines, and guiding you toward encounters and opportunities that match what you have accepted within yourself. You are not waiting for the desire. The desire is waiting for you to hold firmly to its reality. When you receive internally, you are no longer a seeker. You become a receiver. You move differently. You speak differently. You expect differently. You stop asking, when will it come, and begin affirming, it is done. This shift changes everything. Doubt loses its influence. Fear dissolves. Impatience settles. And you begin walking as one who already knows the outcome. Something big is not coming from the outside in, it is unfolding from the inside out. Your internal acceptance is the cause, and the world is the effect. As long as you continue to nurture the feeling of fulfillment, the physical manifestation must appear. It is law. Your job is not to force the how or pressure the timeline. Your job is to remain faithful to the inner knowing that what is yours cannot be lost, delayed, or denied. There may still be moments where the world looks unchanged, where old conditions try to convince you nothing is happening. But remember, appearances are the past trying to hold on. Do not let them sway you. The old reality is dissolving. A new one has been born within you, and soon the outer world will have no choice but to mirror it. When you feel something big is coming, that feeling is not random. It is recognition. It is your intuition touching a future that is already yours. It is your higher self whispering that you are aligned with a powerful unfolding, that the seeds you planted in imagination are breaking through the surface. Stand firm in the knowing. Celebrate before the evidence appears. Honor the feeling of arrival within. For the moment you receive your desire internally, the universe begins delivering it externally, and nothing can stop what has already been claimed. Every shift begins inside you. Every breakthrough first appears in the unseen. What you assume, what you accept, what you embrace as true in the silence of your imagination becomes a reality you walk into. You are drawing your future to you with every thought you persist in, every belief you choose, every feeling you allow to dominate your inner state. Something big is already moving toward you, not because of luck or chance, but because you have already said yes to it within. Stand firm in your identity. Live from the end, not toward it. Trust the invisible that is working tirelessly in your favor. The world is aligning, doors are unlocking, and the version of you that holds the promise of your desires is already directing your steps. Let your faith be louder than your fear. Let your imagination be stronger than your doubt. Let your certainty be the force that collapses distance and time. Your future is not waiting. It is unfolding. The shift is not coming. It is here. And every day you are stepping deeper into the life that once existed only in your dreams. Hold the feeling of fulfillment close. Celebrate your transformation even before others can see it, because soon what you know in your heart will be undeniable in your world. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing. Thank you for choosing to rise into the greatest version of yourself. The best of your life is not ahead of you. It is already within you. And now it is coming into view. Thank you.